Alright, I left off Book 2, Chapter 3, The Path of a Sorcerer's Apprenticeship. 4, Curses and Rules of Satan. 5, The Apprentice of Devils, the Appearance of Devils, the Times and Forms which they appear, the Division of Witches' Witch Actions. 7, Methods of Transportation and the Illusions of Satan. Book 3. The third book is the conclusion of the whole dialogue. Here King James provides a description of all these kinds of spirits and specters, which I had to look up. It was disembodied spirits that troubled men or women. His classification of demons was not based on separate demonic entities with their names, ranks, or titles, but rather categorized them based on the 4 methods used by any given devil to cause mischief or torment on a living individual or a deceased corpse. He quotes previous authors who state that each devil has the ability to appear in diverse shapes or forms for varying arrays of purposes as well. In his description of them, he relates that demons are under the direct supervision of God and are unable to act without permission, further illustrating how demonic forces are used as a rod of correction when men stray from the will of Yah. Well, Yah had already put that in my heart. That's why when he brought that rod of correction against me for backsliding on him after fierily going for him, well, he sent the demons, but he didn't let them hurt me, didn't let them touch me. But he let them, he showed me his power. Alright. The will of Yah may be commissioned by witches or magicians to conduct acts of ill will against others, but will ultimately only conduct works that will end in the further glorification of Yah despite their attempts to do otherwise. The demonic forces were described as follows. Spectra, disembodied spirits, used to describe spirits that trouble houses or solitary places. Obsession, used to describe spirits that follow upon certain people to outwardly trouble them at various times of the day, referencing Incubus and Succubus. Possession, used to describe spirits that enter inwardly into a person to trouble them. And then fairies, used to describe illusionary spirits that prophesy, consort, and transport their servants. News from Scotland declaring the damnable life and death of Dr. Fian, a notable sorcerer, is a pamphlet originally printed in London in 1591 that details the infamous North Berwick witch trials in Scotland and the confessions given before the king. The initial and subsequent publication of Demonology included a previous published news pamphlet detailing the accounts of North Berwick witch trials that involved King James himself, as he acted as judge over the proceedings. Well, yeah, the devil is going to proceed over his minions, so they're not bothered. The deputy bailiff, that's why you got to pay bail to get out of jail. Kingdom of Scotland. David Seaton had a servant named Galeas Duncan, who within a short period of time was found to have miraculously helped any who were troubled or grieved with sickness or infirmity. David Seaton examined her as a witch and obtained a confession that caused the apprehension of several others. Later declared to be notorious witches, Agnes Thompson confessed before King James to have attempted his assassination using witchcraft on more than one occasion. The pamphlet details how she attempted these. She also participated in a Sabbat during All Hallows Eve, as her and others sacrificed a cat and sent it into the sea as they chanted in hopes of summoning a tempest to sink a fleet of ships accompanying James as he was arriving in the port of Leith from a trip to Norway. One ship was sunk from the storm containing gifts meant for the Queen of Scotland, but the others, including ship transporting King James, were unharmed. We know this is all a lie. And they didn't. Dr. Fian was deemed a notable sorcerer and was among many others that were apprehended in the trials. The pamphlet details their reasons for conducting sorcery, the methods used, how each of the witches were apprehended, and the torture methods used in their punishment and death. The case of Dr. Fian follows his compact with Satan, a conflict he had with another witch who sabotaged an enchantment meant for her daughter, his examination during the trial and torture he endured, his escape and subsequent execution. The cultural significance. It has been noted that the theme taken from demonology and King James' involvement in the North Berwick witch trials may have directly contributed to Shakespeare's work of Macbeth. Evidence of this exists in three witches' use of ritual magic and direct quotes that directly relate to the testimony given from the witch trials described as in the News of Scotland's pamphlet. Macbeth had come into public enjoyment a few years after the publication of Demonology and retains many of the same Scottish themes and settings. Demonology assisted in the creation of witchcraft reform, heavily inspiring Richard Bernard in writing a manual on witch finding in 1629 titled A Guide to Grand Jury Men, which advised judicial trial procedures to take a stronger investigative approach to acquiring and analyzing evidence and obtaining witnesses to be present during witchcraft trials. There was also an influence on Matthew Hopkins in his work as a witch finder between 1644 and 1646, in which an estimated 300 witches were tried and executed. Yeah, right. In the year of Hopkins' death, 1647, he published the discovery of witches, which were directly cited demonology as a source of creating methods in discovering a witch. Yah hasn't put it in my spirit to go read the actual book. I'm not saying that he doesn't want me to go. As I'm reading, I'm not seeing like actual black magic, but you cannot get this information from Yah of demonology. It came straight from Satan. Why? If Yah tells you not to set up engraven images and whatnot, why would a King James set up images of himself everywhere? Why do you think they call themselves king? They're not talking about the King Yeshua. They want to be king. They don't use the word ruler. They use the word king. They want to be worshipped as kings. Have you ever gone and looked at the original 1611 King James Bible? If not, I recommend you look for it on the internet and search it out, because all the artwork on it has nothing to do but with Freemasons. I'm just the messenger. Don't believe me. You'll be dealing with Yah and the devil in the end. If you don't research, you do not seek. You open the book, you have a name, Yah. You don't need no more. That's what people say. Oh, I've got Yah. I've got the book. I don't need nothing else. He says you reject wisdom and understanding. Well, that means you rejected him. So he says, I reject you. I mean, can you imagine being a person that has the name of Yah? Your heart wants Yah, but not strong enough to just seek the entire truth. You just stopped right at the name. That was it. Oh, I got the true name. Pseudo history, crypto history. Look that word up. It's the slow rewriting of history. Almost 99 point something percent is all lies that we've grown up into. But, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to give the information out there. People do what they want with it from there. I can guarantee you, if a person does not give the credit to Yah for everything, it was the work of the devil. I've never heard King James mention Yah's name one time. I seen him put Jah with his Jew J in there. That's how he got J for James, because he's part of the devil. There's no J in Yah's alphabet. There's no J in Hebrew alphabet. That strong delusion is going to destroy your soul. If you do not seriously seek the truth, if you just stop there at the name and go with every single word to your grave in that book, Yah does not abode with lies and deceit. So you could think you were with Yah, and you had never even been near him. In the name of Yeshua, so be it.